And hello, my fellow nerds. This is Oracle Nerd here, and welcome back once again to our Wonderland Remastered Steam release. So last time we had just gotten Orlum out of the castle. All four of us are here in this cabin that's just in the woods somewhere. Anyway, not trying to reference any movies. the ca- the cabin is exactly as I remember it. It's warm and strangely comforting. There's even something cooking atop the stove, filling the air with delightful scent, almost as though it had been waiting for us. Waiting for a long time. I look around, my gaze jumping from the stove to the table to the bed. My focus lingers for a second too long. I feel my insides start to twist, but I shake my head to clear my thoughts, jerking away. Ginger looks equally as uneasy in front of me. I see their own gaze traveling from the bed to the kitchen floor. The color momentarily drains from their face before they grit their teeth, moving purposefully into the center of the room. Well, we're here. Yippee fucking skippy. Genzo lets out a sigh, shifting Orlum in his arms. Was kind of hoping for a no vacancy and so we had an excuse to vamoose the fuck out of here. Didn't that kinda happen already? I wins. Well, for some of us anyway. I throw a pained glance in Orlum's direction, who responded with a non-committal grunt. Gigi begins wandering around. First to the table, scrutinizing the plate full of cookies at its center, then to the pot slowly simmering atop the stove, then the back wall. To the door that I swear to fucking God has never been there before. At least not in reality. Interesting, they muse. They try the handle. Doesn't budge. Gigi gives it a few more solid tugs for good measure, but it's locked up tight. Guess that's a no-go. Or we could just walk around the back of the house, like like a real passel of problem solvers. He goes towards it lowers Orlo down on the bed. I stare at the door in question. A strange gurgle dancing in my gut. I don't know. I clasp and unclasp my hands, fingers bouncing idly. Something tells me it doesn't lead behind the house. Jacob looks at me, then back at the door. I wonder if they're feeling the same strange sense of otherworldliness that I am. They grunt across their arms, slowly moving back toward the table. Well, wherever it leads, we can figure it out in a bit. Because I need at least 5 minutes peace now that we're not being actively hunted for once. Hell to the fucking A. And I'm gonna fix me up a heaving bowl of whatever is in that smelling like the divine comedy over there. Gizzo claps his hands together with an eager grin as he starts for the stove. The divine comedy that doesn't even make any sense. Roland holds a hand to his temple as though staving off a headache. Are you sure it's safe to eat that? I bring my hand up in wary admonition. But even as I do, I can feel my stomach grumble somewhat unceremoniously in response. Gidget brings their hands to their hips with a sigh. I'd be equally as leery if I weren't fighting the tingling suspicion that it was left here for us to begin with. Pause. That, and I'm also ridiculously hungry. Well, you better hurry the fuck up then, because once I start slopping, I ain't stopping. Phrasing. It doesn't take long before. Oh, whoops. It doesn't take long before the four of us have filled up a couple of bowls of stew and taken our seats at the table. 4 chairs, just enough for us. I wonder if the others have noticed that I anxiously squeeze my spoon between my fingers. The stew smells even better up close. I think I see chunks of potatoes, carrots, and beef within the thick broth. My stomach gurgles again. The last time I ate. When was the last time I ate? Breakfast back in the burrow? My brow droops. The burrow, the rabbits, Jerry. Some of it feels like a lifetime ago already. And yeah, I can still picture his face clearly in my mind. The way his eyes had turned sharp as he shouted to me at me to run. As he'd held off the assaulting rabbits. As he'd bite down on my tongue. I can't let myself think about that for now. As soon as I let one demoralizing thought enter my mind, they'll all start pouring in like a landslide. I can't afford to let myself wallow in debilitating despair. Not yet, at least. Not when we haven't found Bucks yet. Not when we haven't brought this fucking horror movie to a close. It's not... if that's even possible. I dip my spoon into the stew, watching the wooden surface bump and jostle in colored chunks as I slowly stir it. Then I finally bring the spoon to my mouth. It's warm against my lips, but I can't seem to taste it. It rolls around like a mush in my mouth. Is this even edible? I see Orlin prodding his own stew with a spoon, the thinly veiled look of disgust on his face. Oh yeah, forgot about your strict humanitarian diet. Would it help if I carved out a hunk of my stomach for you, your highness? Orlin snorts. And I'd forgotten you'll eat anything that's placed in front of you. Pardon me for still having some semblance of taste. Taste? Taste says the cannibalistic dictator. What is this, freaky deaky opposite funtime Murderland? I stared down at my stew, the thin film of sweat gathering across my forehead. Guys, I assumed we were going to keep things pleasant until we made it out of this eternal pit of torment, but apparently not. Would you like to get into every one of your abhorrent vulgarisms, or can we enjoy a single meal in peace? Mitchell slams his hand down on the table, jerking to his feet. At least I haven't butchered everyone at this effing table, Mr. High and Mighty. No, you'll just slowly chip away at them from the inside until they want to die, so you can blame it all on someone else. Right. My voice is as quiet as a whisper. Rather than melting everyone's face off with an effing cattle prod, you twisted dipshit. Yes, and that was one of my finer moments, wasn't it? Your face was so delightful watching him squeal. Would you two effing stop it? Now it's Giz's turn to slam their hands down on the table, which is enough to shut the other two up immediately. The cabin goes quiet. Nothing but the sound of slowly dwindling drizzle on the roof. Look, every one of us has done something pretty horrific things. Their gaze is focused somewhere on the plate and the cookies in the middle of the table. We've all hurt each other in unforgivable ways. At this, however, they see their eyes flick towards me for just a moment. And I feel myself sink a bit, just as though wanting to disappear into my stew. We're far from getting over everything that happened here. It's gonna take a long time talks before we even start to work things out. A pause. Bloated and heavy and seeming to hang over everyone in the room. Morgan just plays their hands out with a bark. But for Christ's sakes, can we get this out of this alive before we start going at each other's throats? He's the one adding unnecessary commentary. Yeah, well, maybe I don't want to get eaten in my sleep. Geisha reaches over and wrenches Genzo's cap from his head and hurls it to the floor. Sit down and shut up. No one's eating anyone. As he gets up his lips together to barely suppress chagrin, but he does as he's told. The chair creaks and slows back down with an audible snort. Next to him, Orlin snickers. Until Geisha points their finger straight at his face. You, eat your damn stew and stop complaining. No one cares about your delicate palate. Orlin's lips curl into downward. He looks as though he wants to say something, but he ultimately stays silent, obediently picking up his spoon with a distasteful click of his tongue. And you turn to me this time. I must give them the most spooked owl look in the history of our friendship because they seem to lose their spunk. They wince, let their arm fall, and gestures limply towards my stew. Make sure you eat enough. They rub the back of their neck, their eyes strained. You look like you could keel over if anyone so much as looks in your direction. Then they sit awkwardly back in their chair, pulling up to the table with a creak of the wood. It goes silent again. No Genzo looks so overzealous bites of his stew with a damn, this is some fine ass fucking stew. Which seems to release some of the tension and all of us begin to eat. I can't seem to taste it. I still can't seem to taste it, but the warmth feels good in my stomach. must put some color back into my cheeks too, because Orlam's comment that I look less like a corpse as we're carrying our bowls back to the counter. Which I can't help but feel is just a bit ironic. Just a bit. Gidget rinses off the bowls using the water from one of the buckets next to the stove, as the rest of us clean off the table. Genzo wraps a cloth around the gooey stump of his finger before nabbing one of the cookies and munching on it as we instinctively meander over to the back door. The three of us stare up at it, except for Genzo's munching, until Gidget finishes up and joins us. Then the four of us simply stand there. It's locked, huh? A few crumbs fall from Genzo's mouth to adorn his jacket. Seems like it, Gidget mumbles a response. I sniff and rub at my nose. There's up towards it and grab the handle. I give it a best college try, really tugging it. But all it does is rattle its hinges. Yeah, it's pretty stuck. I wipe the small beads of sweat that have formed on my forehead, somewhat sheepishly step back. And we're sure this is where we have to go, Orlam seems unconvinced. Well, I rub the back of my neck. Then look at Gidget. Who looks at Genzo? Who shrugs their warble cookies smothered? I don't know. This is the cabin, right? The cabin. Bring a hand to my forehead with the others begin gesturing in a faint attempt of self-persuasion. Where all of this had been leading. I mean, we've all dreamed about it, haven't we? This results in three abject stares from my companions. I blink, cock my head to the side. Almost waves his hands. Considering all of us have met some kind of untimely demise here, I highly doubt this would be any of our dreams home. Thumb my palm against my forehead in a serious tiny wax. No, that's not what I turn to the door as though there will be some kind of answer or sign or something. Then back to tugging on the handle. Desperately this time. Iggy! Gidget steps towards me with a hand on my shoulder. It's okay. Don't go postal on the poor door, Eggs. Genzo laughs, sending crumbs onto the floor. I let Gidget pull me away from the metal knob, now greased with the sweat of my palm. My shoulders slump, but I make another vague gesture that ultimately falls limp to my side. Is it supposed to be? We'll figure it out, Gidget says, their voice almost resolute enough to calm me. Almost. Yeah, Eggs, we'll F around and find out. Do you even understand what that means? I wince. Hey, we might have not dreamed about it, but all of us were pulled here one way or another. Sometimes multiple times. Gidget's brows twitch just a bit at this. This is where we were meant to come, and we'll figure out what to do next. We've come this far, haven't we? I rub my arm, still feeling mildly as though I've let everyone down. Images of that night 20 years ago flashed in my head. A book in my lap, everyone gathered round. I want so desperately to impress them, to make them happy. The same as I do now? Or is it... Yeah, I say with a sigh. Maybe we can get some shut-eye until morning at least. Approach things with fresh eyes tomorrow. Me and my stump approve of this plan. It's not the worst idea. Orlam scratches his neck. Yeah, I say again, this time allowing Gidget to pull me back towards the center of the room. I study the grain in the floorboards, hearing my hearing especially keen all of a sudden. The rain seems to have stopped, leaving everything silent save for the crackling fire above the stove. Come on. We attempt to figure out sleeping configurations after that. The bed is clearly not big enough for all of us, and after Orlam insists that part of it should be his on the account of his blood regenerating induced fatigue, no one else is keen to join him. So we pass out what pillows and blankets we can find and establish our own little corners. I curl up with a blanket next to the stove. Gidget insists on taking one of the chairs despite it looking in no way comfortable. While Genzo takes the floor floor nearest the front door on account of his belly making the perfect doorstep in case anyone tries to get in. No one, however, stays for long. 10 minutes in, Genzo grunts and says he needs some air and wanders out the door. 10 minutes after that, Gidget gets up, says they're restless, and figures they'll check things out behind the cabin just in case. leaving no one but me and Orlum in the cabin. Hypocrites, I hear Orlum mumble beneath his breath from over in the bed. I put my blanket tighter around my shoulders and stare up at the fire. I'm restless too. Exhausted as I am, I can't seem to keep my eyes shut for more than a minute at a time. The dark void in my eyes seems to tempt my anxious thoughts to assault me en masse. The dull ache in my injured arm makes finding a comfortable position more than a little difficult. I lay there in the warmth of the fire on my face, listening to the sound of my breath, the creaking of the cabin walls, the occasional hoot of a bird outside. I, shi- I shiver despite the dancing flames. What's in my life? Why am I talking to someone? No, I feel like I need to talk to someone. I need to hear someone. As though my heart will disappear into the darkness if I don't. I sit up, still shivering. Why am I so cold? I can't stop shivering. I can't hear. I can hear my own teeth chattering against each other. A deep guttural chill curling up through my bones and around my heart. Why am I this cold? I shouldn't be this cold. Don't I deserve to be warm? I glance over at Orlum, then the door. That need is still there. I feel it pulsing in my heart. I need to hear someone to share their warmth. It's so bad to seek warmth from someone else. I want somebody to share it with. I've always been so stubborn, insisting that others' warmth should come first. But without warmth, I'll die. Without warmth, I'll fade away into nothingness. Oh, oh. Okay, here we go. So yeah, so this is a very different thing, right? So apparently with it, so this was towards the end of the game, right? So here you actually get a choice of who you want as your love interest, and I think until I might need to go back on a few things in the story to see what I have to do, but for all of these are the affection. There's actually affection that you can get with each character, and and if their affection is high enough, you can actually pursue them. But if affection is too low, you can't choose them at all. I don't really remember what I did to have their affection be higher. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll go back and probably get their endings at some other point and their scenes as well. So, so anyways, let's just wrap this up. Let's go talk to Genzo, since that's who we were pursuing this entire time, anyways. The talk show will determine your final ending. Are you sure you want to talk to Genzo? No, go back. Yes. Ob- Obviously, yes. I mean, what other choice was there to not talk to anybody at all? Okay, there we go. It was lagging a little bit. I pushed myself up to my feet with a wobble, blanket wrapped tight around my arms. This started for the door. Feels strange, like walking through the veil of a dream. Not comprehending anything I'm doing, yet feeling more in control than I ever have in my life. Where are you going? Well, rolls over to blink at me curiously from the bed. Hmm. I stop, look at the door, at my feet. I suddenly feel as though I'm being judged. Just need to clear my head. Suit yourself. I see him roll back over to face the wall. He looks incredibly small, all curled up in the bed like that. Chewing the inside of my lip, and just stand there for a moment. Then push the door open and step inside. Outside. My bad. It's wet outside. While no longer actively raining, a residual sense of moisture continues to cling to anything it can latch onto. The grass, the dirt, the leaves, the trees, even the very air itself, cool and crisp and heavy as it brushes against my cheeks and nose. I pulled the blanket tight around my shoulders, still shivering. Gento was unmistakable even in the dim haze of early dawn. His cap, like always, acting like a beacon through the darkness. He's sitting on a downed log for a short distance from the cabin. He looks like a paunchy frog, all bunched and hunkered over. Cigarette smoke marbles in the air above his head as he attempts to clean his stump of a finger with the water from a small bucket. He looks tired. I watch him for a moment, feeling a bit like a ghost in the night, then finally wander over. Hey. Hmm? Gives his shoulders jump as he whips his head so fast he nearly loses his cigarette. Oh, it's just you. I see him perhaps instinctively try to hide his hand, forcing a laugh as he moves the cigarette to the other side of his mouth. You're gonna catch a cold, you fucking twig. Get back inside. I couldn't sleep. Join the club. Pretty sure all four of us are so traumatized at this point we'll never sleep again. You're probably not wrong about that. I stand there a bit longer, not quite sure what to do. Gento looks a tad uncomfortable, shifting back as he grabs his cigarette to let out a long plume of smoke. He's still got his right hand tucked against his belly. I finally take a seat next to him, close enough that our shoulders touch. Let me see it. No. Let me see it. Give me a fucking break, Eggs. It's fine. It's not fine, and you pretending it is will only make it worse. Gento mumbles an expletive beneath his breath, but removes his hand from his hiding spot. He balances on his knee, curling his finger in and out with a thinly veiled grimace. It doesn't hurt. You lost a finger. Yeah, well, I didn't need that one anyway. Who needs 5 fingers? Am I right or am I right? I don't respond to his self-deprecating wisecrack. Instead, cradling his hand between mine so I can better observe the damage. It's a clean chop, at least. I give Orlam's knife skills that much. It stopped bleeding. The blood is congealed into a thin layer of jelly across the stump, dark and clotted. I can only barely see the way of the bone peeking out from the middle. Ugh. But it's dirty, speckled with dirt and grime, bits and pieces of grit lodged in gooiness, drawing patterns across his fingers and hands. My brow creases. I hold out my hand in for the cloth and I hold my hand out for the cloth he'd been using. Give it. Gento sighs when he does as he's told. I dip it in the water and begin softly wiping at the skin, but careful as I work, trying as hard as I can not to irritate the wound any more than necessary. Though there's only so much I can do. When I have to touch the stove directly to wipe away some of the ground and mug, I feel Gento's body tense. Hisses. Grumbles another expletive. Takes a long drag of his cigarette. I wait for a sarcastic evaluation for my efforts, but none comes. So I keep up my ministrations in silence. Gento's hand is wide and rough between mine as I work. So different from my own. My fingers are long and bony. His are short and thick. Where mine are peachy and smooth, his are warm and calloused. I let my thumb trace somewhat instinctively across his palm as I wipe at the streaks of dirt caked on blood. Strange sense of sadness tugs at my heart. Of a helplessness I've long kept buried inside of me. You should take better care of yourself. I whisper as my voice catches in the back of my throat. Oh sure, I'll remember that next time someone else comes at me with a giant cleaver. Just gotta stop you right there. There, yes, please, Egg said. Please, Egg said I should take better care of myself. So if you please refrain from forcibly separating pieces of my body. I didn't mean. I squeezed my eyes shut for a moment, then blinked them back open. You never care about yourself. Here's the last of this. Why the fuck should I? I'm basically a walking, talking sack of shit. At least now I finally started to correct some of my copious wrongs. So rather than actively hurting anyone, I'm only passively annoying the fuck out of them. That's as close to a win-win as you're gonna get with me. Oh, shut the fuck up. The words leave my mouth before I can stop him, and gets so stills instantly. His eyes go wide, cigarette hanging between his lips, his breath hitches. I feel a telltale sting in my throat as the water fills me in my eyes. But as hard as I try to ward it off, my unprecedented snap has already opened the floodgates. My trembling renews as the tears begin dribbling down my cheeks. You have... I can't seem to form words. I stare down and Genzo's hand until his fingers blur. Have you ever thought about how I feel? I swallow hard, a voice warbling to a warbling tremolo between my lips. Watching you get hurt for me? Another swallow. Watching you die for me? Kenzo doesn't say anything. I can hear him breathing long and slow. He blow another plume of smoke of air. I don't need you to be my selfless knight. Silence. I just need you. More silence. I open my cheeks with a sniff, blinking until the world clears a bit. Then go back to Gezo's hand, wiping the last bits of grime and blood off of his knuckles. Once it feels as clean as I can realistically get it, I give the cloth a final rinse in the water before gently trying to wrap it around the stump to prevent any further contamination. There, I simply say, my voice quivering. Hopefully that should help. Kenzo grunts and wiggles his fingers. His cigarette is burned down to the filter. He tosses it into the grass, stamping out the remaining embers beneath the toe of his shoe. More silence. Two of us just sitting there like on that wet log, our shoulders barely touching as we stare down at the grass. Kenzo crosses his arms. I hear him let out a long sigh, his knee bouncing ever so slightly. Eggs, he finally says. The voice cracks with phlegm. I glance over away from him to continue. I can try to be better. Pause. I can try for you. I sit up at this, my back and shoulders going tense. No. Genzo's brow twisted into an expression of sheer befuddlement that in any other situation might have made me laugh. But now it just frustrates me even more. I shake my head, hands digging into the fabric of my pants. Not for me. For yourself. Eggs, come on. No, Genzo. The stupid fucking tears come back. I grit my teeth so hard I swear I hear my jaw crack. Who was it that told me to think a little more highly of myself after I nearly jumped straight into that eye thing's mouth, huh? Who was it that slapped some sense into me when I said everyone would be better off without me? Eggs. Because yeah, I do have a big problem with blaming everything on myself. But at least I don't try to hide all of those woe is me stuff behind some big goofy tough facade, so that everyone thinks I'm perfectly fine, and until I'm not. I punch the bottom of my fist lightly against his shoulder as I start to crumble. So you're not. Another punch. Genzo's mouth is tight. You were never fine, Genzo. I stare down at the zipper of his coat, unable to look him in the eye. The tears are running rivulets down my cheeks again. Genzo just stares down at the top of my head. You were never fine. I never knew. Silence. I never knew. What does it matter? He finally says, his voice sounding hoarse. Who cares if I'm fine? Who cares if I'm not? Now it's getting louder. His voice crackles as it turns sharp. I get by. I always have. If I want to hear myself, who the fuck cares? I care, Genzo. I shout, my throat clogged with phlegm. Why? Genzo shouts back, equally as vehement. Why the fuck do you care? Because I love you! There's a split second where both of us just stare at each other. Oh, there they go! Look at our babies! I bet Karen's watching this video being very happy that they actually made this. Then pressing my lips against his. Because it's the only thing I can think of to do. My brain is too shell-shocked by the words coming out of my mouth to process anything else. My heart beating too loudly to allow me to think of anything else. In that moment, we're back in the bed in that darkened room. We're kissing for the first time. The first kiss I'd ever had in my entire life. All the fear and all the anxiety and all the sheer hopelessness in our situation disappears for just a second. Kiss him even as tears and snot leak down my face, as my lips tremble against his, as my fingers cling to his jacket as though it was about to fly clean away. Only after I realize he's not kissing back do I pull away. I blink to bat away the tears clouding my vision. My mouth begins to hang open in apprehension. Genzo's just staring at me. His eyes wide as dinner plates. A fresh pool of his own tears gathering in a dark bags beneath his eyes. Hear my cheeks start to heat up and jerk my gaze away, suddenly self-conscious. Sorry. I don't know why I apologize, but that's nothing new. I'm always apologizing, aren't I? That's pretty much my thing. The tears are running rivers down Genzo's cheeks now. He puts a hand to his mouth, holds it there, sniffs, clears his throat. Another sniff. Fuck. He seems to be really struggling. I turn back to him with a look of confusion. Fuck. Now he has two hands to his face, rubbing his eyes and cheeks. Are you okay? I ask quietly. No, I'm not fucking okay, Iggs. His gaze goes sideways as he pulls down his cheeks, his growing mental anguish. I never... I with my nose, watch him struggle. I never thought I'd... A pause. Long and choked, hanging in the air. Hear you say that. Something about this brings color back to my cheeks, and I drop my gaze. Oh. Now both of us are just staring down at that bucket of water. Probably like a couple of love-struck losers without the emotional maturity to comprehend their feelings. Well, because we kind of are. The other cost. Did you mean it? I sniff, still not looking at him. Yeah. I see. He starts bumping the side of his fist against his nose. I clasp my hands, unclasp them. Start picking at my thumb. I know that we have no idea what's gonna happen, or if we're even gonna make it out of here, but I guess I want to make sure you knew that, so that no matter what I love you too. Blink, glance over. Genzo has his hand over his mouth and stares so intensely at the ground, I'm surprised he doesn't light the grass itself on fire. His cheeks have turned a brilliant shade of red. A tight smile forms on my face. Yeah, I know. Genzo glanced at me, then clutches his hands to my face again. What's wrong? I bring my hands up in a panic. He pulls out his hand over his mouth. Oh, the baby. Oh, he even has a thing on his finger, the little thing around there on his thumb, his finger. That's adorable. I don't think we ever saw this. I don't think we ever saw this one in the original. It's so cute. He pulls his hat down over his eyes, then all the way to his mouth and starts gnawing at it like some kind of rabid chipmunk. Genzo? Now I really don't know what to do. The complexities of a man in love for 20 plus years are apparently lost on me. I don't know what to do. I hear Genzo's mumble half muffled through the fabric of his hat. Why? Then, so soft I can barely hear him.
You think my heart exploded?
Exploded? I grip his shoulders in abject terror, all for 5 seconds. They realize he's being fastidious and feel my muscles unclench themselves one by one. I sit back. Oh, right. After a few minutes, he finally pulls his hat away off himself, clutching it between his hands. You're so cute, he mumbles, his gaze still pointed downwards. This lights a fire beneath my cheeks, and I run my hand clumsily through my hair. Genzo clears his throat. Tips a bit, as though trying to reassert whatever dignity he has left. I see him glance at me, his face soft. Can I, kiss you again? Like, all proper and shit. Oh, sure. I turn towards him, feeling very much out of my element despite my earlier assertion. Proper? What does proper mean? I sling one of my legs over the log and scooch closer, fingers clutching at the damp bark between us. That laugh again. Can't quite tell if it's me or at himself and the situation in general, which just makes me even more flustered. Until his hand finds my cheek. His palm is soft against my skin, and my eyes flutter just ever so slightly closed. Because it's warm. So fucking warm. When Genzo speaks again, I can hear his tears return to his voice. I love you so fucking much, Iggs. Then he kisses me. I like to wax poetic about how this feels. About how the way he pulls me close. About the way my heart seems to well up about 5 sizes in my chest. Even about the way my fingers and toes suddenly don't feel like they belong to me anymore. Some weird floaty tingly appendages attached to a weird floaty tingly mass in my body pressed up against his, but Aww. I've never been one much for words or feelings or words about feelings. So you just have to trust that in the moment. In that moment, I didn't feel one single bit cold. Oh, they're so cute. They're so cute together. I, I, I love this game way too much. Carrot makes one of the best games of all time. I think this is why it's so well viewed on my it's one of my most viewed things on my channel because it's just so good. The story is so awesome and I love it. I just don't know what else to think about it to be honest. It's just that good. It's so good you should probably play it for yourself. Anyways, we don't stay out much longer after that. I guess flustered confessions of love kind of put an end to the serious conversation. That and Genzo's fervent insistence that my fingers are definitely turning blue, and even if we're all gonna die soon anyway, he's not about to let me get pneumonia on his watch. For once, I don't really care how morbidly sarcastic he's being, because that's, well, Genzo. So I let him usher me back inside, and back over to the stove. Oh, look at them! I don't even complain when he won't stop looking at me. Dude, they're so adorable. Oh, and look, they even have little matching like wraps. Like one's the fabric of Iggy's shirt, and the other is just a rag. That's cute. Because I don't want him to stop. I don't want him to ever stop. His fingers curl around mine like an anchor keeping me ashore. My forehead finds his shoulder. My own safe little cocoon. Where there aren't any exceptions. No judgment, just love and acceptance. And a warmth that fills me up from the inside out. My warmth. I need you. I've always needed you. As Genzo's fingertips trace my cheek, as his lips press against my forehead, I let myself drift off to sleep. For once, not worrying about what morning may bring. I just love this game so much. I love it so much. It's so good. You're just being ridiculous. I'm not being ridiculous. I'm being rational, con- and conscientious. I'm not wearing those, and I'm not carrying you 20 minutes in when you complain about your feet. They're vile and grotesque. You're vile and grotesque. Well, at least I don't resort to childish denigration. I shake my head, crack my eyes open. Sun filtering in through the far window and casting long shadows across the cabin floorboards. Morning already? Feel like I just slept about 5 minutes. My face is pressed against the crook of Genzo's arm so snugly I can practically feel the creases that have formed across my cheek. I resort to whatever I need to ensure you make it out of here in one piece. Then you wear the oafish foot accoutrements. Orlov, I swear to God, I am. I push myself to a seat, which prompts the two standing by the table to halt their discourse. Hark, waketh night's pale maiden, full and bright. Iggy! His voice sounds slightly strained. I like how when Iggy doesn't have his glasses, the entire world is just blurry. It's like one of those small details that you tend to look, but I just love it. You're you're up. I blink, then reach frantically for my glasses, quickly donning them, squinting back up to see the sun-dropped visages of my companions. Sleep well? The audible smile in Orlam's voice becomes visible. For a second, my sleep-addled mind attempts to make heads or tails of the conflicting tones coming at me. Then he glanced at Genzo, currently splayed on his back, snoring loudly at the ceiling. Oh, right. They, we, it was cold. I simply say, but surely the red in my face red I can feel fast tracking its way at my cheeks is enough to complete the story. Yes, I suppose that would be one thing he's good at. And he'd be quite quiet for once, too. Doubly blessed then. The rabbit has seen paradise by the dashboard light. It's fine, Iggy, we just didn't want to wake you. Right. I scratch idly at my arm, not practically enjoying my current moment in the spotlight. I found porridge in the cupboard. Genji holds up a burlap sack as though lifting a prized trophy. You want some? Thought I'd make it once we're all up and about. Since we still need to figure out the door and all. Pause. Or whatever it is we need to go next. Sure, that sounds fine. I stare down at my legs, but I glance back when I don't get a response. Kids just look at me. I can feel a sort of restrained sadness in their gaze, but they quickly shake it away. Right. They pat the sack. Right, I'll get started on it. I watch them head towards the cupboard in search of utensils. Oh, whoops. Then let my gaze drop back down to Genzo, still fast asleep. A long tendril of drool is worked its way down out of his mouth and is currently dangling out the side of his lip. I press my lips together to keep him from my smile. Memories from last night, or would earlier this morning be a better descriptor? Colored both my thoughts and face. And I instinctively curl my knees in towards my chest, momentarily lost in the thought. Only jerk out of the way knows Olam still is just standing there and staring at me. What? What? I freeze in place as though I've just been calling my hands in the cookie jar. Or the brown sugar Tupperware, as was my case when I was little. Oh, don't mind me. Can a connoisseur not appreciate the arts? Connoisseur my butt. I can feel the warmth rise in my face. Orlum, go get some water. Orlum grimaces does what he's told. Yes, dear. He starts for the door. And where are the boots? He stops, grimaces again. Then begrudgingly dons the old tattered pair of boots that had been sitting by the door. Yes, dear. He grabs one of the buckets from off the pile and goes clomping out the door. I watch him go, not moving for a few moments. Then eventually turn back to Genzo's sleeping form. What would I give for this to be in my apartment? My bed. We just awoken on a Sunday morning. There's zero reason for us to get up. So I should just curl back up beside him and return to sweet bliss of sleep. But that's not reality. Reality is far too cruel for that. So I lean down and softly trace the side of his cheek with my finger. Again, Genzo's nose twitches. He mumbles something, lets out an unwilling snort. Then crackles his eyes open. Hey, he says softly. Hey, I say softly in return. Hey, porridge coming through. Need the stove, people. Genzo steps around us, a large pot in their hands as they attempt to reach the stove top. I jerk back and out of the way, promptly falling on my butt. As next to me, Genzo groans and slowly pushes himself to a seat. Yes, I can make way for food, Genzo yawns, wiping bloodily at his face. Yeah, the breakfast bugle and all that. Dude, this is honestly bringing a lot of memories back for me, because I actually remember when I used to be part of a... I used to be part of a scouting troop, and I actually remember we used to camp out in like cabins and tents and stuff like that, and we always would make like breakfast and all that. I think one of the best breakfasts we made all the time was like eggs in a baggie or something like that. It's like just a bunch of scrambled eggs boiled in a bag, and then you eat them out of the bag or just dump into a mess kit or something. Oh, those were the days. Gija hums beneath their breath as they start messing with the burners. Move the blankets while you're at it. Not about to trip and break a leg while providing the group with sustenance of all things. Aye, Captain. Genzo starts gathering the strewn upholstery littering the floor. I take this opportunity to push myself up to my feet, stretching out to the kink in my back as I take in the tints of the morning sun on the hardwood floor. All right. I guess the finale will have to wait until the next episode because I'm actually getting exhausted already for some reason. But that's going to do it for this video. Be sure to leave a like, comment what you think, share this video with your friends, and be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss a single notification. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye! With